10 Disney attractions that were never completed. Disney Imagineers are responsible for designing new ideas for the company's parks and attractions. One of the main skills required for a Disney Imagineer is the ability to think outside of the box. There is a countless number of sketches that never became reality, but here are just 10 of the most intriguing Disney attraction ideas that were never finished. 10. The Enchanted Snow Palace. Frozen hit theaters in 2013, and it quickly rose to one of the most popular Disney animated films of all time. However, interest in adapting the original Hans Christian Andersen story The Snow Queen was around Disney years before they finally decided to turn it into a movie. Marc Davis was one of the original designers and animators at Disney. He was responsible for designing Tinker Bell, Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, Aurora, and so many more. When Disneyland was created, he was the mastermind behind It's a Small World, Haunted Mansion, and Pirates of the Caribbean. In 1978, Davis designed the Enchanted Snow Palace, which was a snow castle built into the edge of a glacier. He thought that visitors to the hot California park would appreciate a cold, air-conditioned ride. The ride idea was rejected because they were trying to put in more roller coasters and thrilling attractions instead of slow-moving, peaceful rides. Marc Davis died in 2000, and he never got to see Disney's version of the Snow Queen coming to life when Frozen premiered. In his original sketch of the Snow Queen, she is blonde and her hair is braided. She's wearing a blue dress that appears to be made out of snow and ice. It's clear that they took his original sketches as inspiration for Elsa. The Frozen Ever After ride opened in 2016, and it is very similar to Marc Davis's original idea. During the planning process, Jim Henson met with his lawyers and expressed his frustrations because nearly every idea he pitched to Disney met with some sort of criticism or roadblock. He felt as though he wasn't getting the creative control he was promised. In 1990, Jim Henson suddenly died at only 53 years old. While a lot of people loved that ride, it was considered to be too scary for kids, and it was removed from the park. 7. Disney's America. In 1992, Disney planned to build a third park inside the United States that was totally themed around U.S. history and patriotism. It was supposed to be built on 3,000 acres in Manassas, Virginia. The idea was that tourists who were already on their way to Washington, D.C.'s historic landmarks could stop by Disney's America while they were on vacation. Each section of the park brought guests through a timeline of U.S. history. The entrance to the park was a Civil War-era town where guests could board an antique train. The train would drop guests off at a Native American village, a Civil War fort, and a replica of what immigration was like on Ellis Island in the early 1900s. Disney was also planning to build on top of a piece of land that was an actual Civil War landmark. Six. National Harbor. Even though the plans for Disney's America fell through in the 1990s, the corporation still had their eyes on the Metro DC area. In 2009, Disney purchased 15 acres of land in Prince George County, Maryland, with the plan to build a 500-room waterfront resort on National Harbor. The local government was supportive of their plans because they saw it as an opportunity to create new jobs and attract even more tourism to the area, since that was their main source of income. Some of the attractions were a hot air balloon, a massive glass Victorian greenhouse, a magnetic roller coaster, and an elevator that blasted guests into the air with a water geyser. The island at the top of the world totally flopped in the box office, and park executives took it as a sign that guests would not visit Discovery Bay. So, they cancelled the project. For the SS Disney. Despite the fact that Imagineers created a model of the SS Disney, the project was never actually started. It was probably way too unrealistic to think that a floating theme park could survive all kinds of sailing conditions while circumnavigating the globe. So, why has there never been a villain-centric Disneyland attraction? Villain characters walk around taking requests for selfies, give autographs, and are featured in the Disneyland Halloween Parade. Beyond that, they're never given much of the spotlight. According to Chuck Morachi, the author of the Disney Park History book 4 Decades of Magic, Disney was seriously considering building a park called Dark Kingdom in Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Maleficent's castle would have been the centerpiece of the park, and rides would have been themed around some of the classic baddies like Ursula and Captain Hook. Maybe someday, the Dark Kingdom will have its opportunity, only this time, villains like Loki and Darth Vader will join in on the fun. It would have included Maroon Cartoon Studios, the Acme Warehouse, and the same restaurant from the film. A few of the ideas for the rides included a roller coaster, dark rides, Baby Herman's Runaway Baby Buggy, and the Toontown Trolley, which would have been an immersive movie experience, similar to Star Tours. However, in 1990, the New York Times announced that Disney CEO Michael Eisner had revealed that they were negotiating to create a land honoring the Soviet Union inside Epcot. One of the rides would have been based on the Russian fairy tale By the Pike's Wish and called Ivan and the Magic Pike. The park would never come to be, as the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Russia's economy got worse and worse in the late 1990s. There weren't any major Russian corporations willing to sponsor the park. As the years went on and Russia's economy improved, Disney park executives decided they wanted to revisit the idea of adding Russia to Epcot.